Alright. Could you please introduce yourself, just who you are and what you do?
Okay, Stephen from Williams Resolve WCB team.
I'm Vix. I am on the Williams Resolve WCB team as a sub.
Hi, I'm Crimson. I go by Crimson, surprisingly enough. And I'm also a little bit louder. Hi, I'm Crimson. I go by... No. Let me... Hi, I'm Crimson. I also play for the Williams Resolve WCB team.
And Vix, you're a content creator too, right?
Yes, I also do content creation for Williams Resolve.
Alright. So how did you get to know each other, and how did you join Resolve?
Well, me and Soph, or Stephen, have known each other for a very long time. I've been around in the scene since, for about 6 years
Since
now?
you were 15. Yeah.
Since I was 14, yeah.
14?
Yeah,
Yeah,
14.
14.
So, me and Soph met through Triple Trouble's Discord,
Yeah.
group. So, bit of a throwback for anyone who knows what Triple Trouble is. And our coach, Tapol, was on Triple Trouble. So, Soph was like, hey, I want can Vix be sub, because they needed a sub.
Yeah.
And they were like, hey, we'll use the stream, why don't you do content creation as well? So
We were kind of like, if anything goes wrong, we need a sub, but we shouldn't have to use one. Obviously, we were wrong about that, because Vix subbed into a grand final.
and got MVP.
And got MVP in one of the games. So I'm glad we did pick up Vix, but, picked up Vix because we've been friends for, forever, basically. So, yeah.
And
I played against Soph in WCB Season 3, I think.
Yep.
So I've played WCB since Season 1. Won it twice now, which is very nice. And Soph beat me in Season 3, and my team was sort of not enjoying Rocket League, not really wanting to play. And so I joined the team at the time, which was known as Cat Jam. And then we got picked up by BS Plus competition at the beginning of Season 4 and played under that team for a year.
We had an open spot where Ravina didn't want to play anymore because of external things. Very much we had an open spot, and we looked at the second best team, which was Crimson's team, and Crimson was by far the best player on that team. I think the other two, they weren't enjoying it, and you could tell they didn't want to put the hours in. But lovely people, I love them, no drama. But yeah, no. So we picked up Crimson, and we've won quite a lot since. So seems like a good decision.
And all three of us actually played in a tournament, a charity tournament,
Oh, yeah.
Goals for Change.
Yeah, we did.
And we won the tournament playing together. This was way before, I think you were even teamed together, right? Probably.
I
Yeah.
think it was before we were teamed.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was
so-
Goals for Change charity event.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
I
like
was-
a $10,000 Psionics tournament, and it was like all the money went to charity.
It was streamed on the Rocket League.
Streamed
main
on the
channel-
Rocket League
channel.
thing, and it was that was really fun. It was like extra modes and like just fun stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was lovely.
Yeah, we won it.
And well, you say you put in the hours. Some other people don't. You have a win percentage of 91.78%. How do you keep winning?
I think it's a lot of time and effort. We are very, very aware that every single person wants to beat us, and that's the spot we've been in for now 2 years. We're quite used to it, but it's always there in tournaments. Every single tournament you play, you're extremely disappointed if you don't just outright win the whole thing, which is a really difficult perspective to be at. And it can also really struggle with sort of motivation and things like that when you win every single time. It's like, why do I put these hours in if I'm already winning? A lot of teams that like majors and things like that, it's why you very rarely see, I don't think we've ever seen a team win 2 majors in a row, because they'll win it and then it's like, oh, I'm going to go for a holiday, I'll have a break, I've earned it sort of thing.
Yeah.
And you always have to be putting in those hours, because if someone's always going to want to take your spot. It's a lot of hard work. Yeah.
How do you combat that? How do you find the motivation to keep going?
I think we've got such a good record, and we know what we're working towards. Obviously, been working towards the championship at the end of this season, which would make me and Crimson both 3 times, and would make Ducks a 4 time. So, the motivation to just, get the whole year's worth of work over the line, is immense, and that's what we've been working towards.
All right. So how was competing in Dallas?
It was tough. It was like great experience. Obviously, it was obviously nice to go out there and play in front of a live crowd. I think we were a bit unlucky. I think we played okay. We didn't play as well as we normally would, but it was positive at least. But obviously we won, I think 13 tournaments in a row, 12 tournaments in a row before that. So going into that as heavy favourites, just to lose is very unfortunate. But it was a good experience. It was, hopefully there's another one so we can win the next one. Obviously is the plan.
There was a lot of pressure on Dallas, with it being the first LAN,
Yeah.
and how dominant we had been. We were completely expected to just show up, perform, do our thing, and it just didn't. It didn't work that way for us on the day. We went up in the series. We were really, really confident, and they made a really, really good adjustment mid-series, and we weren't able to keep up with it and stay on top, which is sort of harrowing. The amount of wins that we have, and then the first LAN that comes along, bang, straight.
Yeah.
But it's very motivational as well. So to see that you can be beaten, you do need to keep the effort up. But the experience as a whole was incredible. We had like a load more people come over in the crowd than we were expecting.
Yeah. A lot of the CRL people came over, showed some support, which was really nice because there was like a good base crowd, and then they sort of funneled in. I think a lot of people, got their friends from CRL. Obviously, being at a DreamHack with loads of people there for just random stuff, they go, oh, Rocket League, like, I'll watch this. There's a load of people there, like, I'll go over and check it out. And then you've got a bunch of people just standing and sort of having a good time. It was a really, really good event.
And you got to play against the North American teams. How do the scenes compare, NA and EU?
NA at the top has 2 really, really top level teams, whereas EU, if I'm being completely honest, has 1, which is us. There are definitely teams that can take us on the day. Emmy Shaw has gotten close quite a few times recently. But NA is always between Genji and Misfits, and they're always fighting over that regional spot. So I think it inherently makes it more exciting to watch because you're less convinced of who's going to win. I think we can be a little bit of a struggle for the scene, honestly, because people will watch it and be like, oh, Resolve's just going to win again. Which, yes, is our job, but it's also discouraging to see that it makes people sort of shy away from it. But we have to do our job. We can't say, oh, let's throw this so more viewers come in or people are more excited. We have to always go out there and do our best.
I've had friends who I'm like really good friends with, really close to, that are like, oh yeah, I want to watch you, but I don't need to because you're just going to win. I think we've been the most dominant team for a while. Because me, Ravina and Ducks, we won season 3, picked up Crimson, won season 4. So I think it's definitely a positive, but when you look at the regions, we've gone 10-0. I think Genji have won 6 and Misfits have won 4. If I'm right, it might be 5-5 or it's close to that. So I think, and it's always like a different team in the final. It's been Amateur, I think 3 or 4 times. It's been Guild quite a few times. So I think definitely below there's like steps. There's like us, and then there's like EU 2 and 3, and then there's another drop.
Well, it's clear that the competition struggles to keep up. So what does the women's scene need to grow?
I
The
think
women's scene needs more support. It's had a really rough year, maybe even a couple of years with ownership under KCP and G1, who haven't really done their bit in what they wanted to do and what they said they were going to do. The fact that people have had to go out on Twitter and say they're going to boycott championships to get paid is kind of crazy to actually look at the scope of it. The support from, it doesn't have to be Psionics, but another organisation could really bring in a lot of interest, a lot of viewership. Elan, obviously, like we saw in Dallas, that it's not going to be a blowout by anybody. There's definitely really good competition there. Elan is obviously like the main goal. Whether it's too early, I'm not sure. But I think the scene needs to grow a bit, and that's done sort of advertising, people being told where to watch it, who you can support, like storylines being created, etc., etc. There needs to be sort of more involvement around it. For now, it's sort of just a tournament. We watch the tournament. There's like, you don't get to know the players. You don't get to see this. There's not much involvement or engagement, and that's what it struggles with.
I think an excellent example of what we want WCB to be is Valorant Game Changers. Like, you look at that, they've had the support from Riot. You have, they, I think I saw an interview from a player at VCT, and she said we were treated as if we were on the same level as the pro teams who had been there before. We got the same treatment. We went through the same places. We were treated as if we were professionals who cared about our game and wanted to win. And we just, it's just about being respected and being, seen as hard-working players, because I think, there's sort of a whole thing around that is ridiculous that it's still a thing, but women aren't as good at video games, or not as many women play video games. But there are so many women out there who, to see something like this that is promoted by Psionics, maybe on the Rocket League home stream, you see it on the esports page or something, just anything, to have that support and recognition that you are there, not necessarily having lots of stuff being thrown in money-wise, but just recognition that people are working so hard to keep the women's scene alive, and there are so many people who are so passionate about it, and we love Rocket League, we love the game, and we love playing it, and we love the community, and to just be seen as valid within the scene is sort of all we could hope for, essentially.
Yeah, and there's been some issues recently with G1 and the organizers, basically. As players, how much do you get from that? How much does it affect you as well?
It's definitely a lot of stress with that. You're thinking your own decimate. You've put all your work in. You've won a tournament. You don't know if you're getting anything for it. It's like people's jobs are online at this point. I think when the league stopped for a couple of months, it's like Resolve could have just gone, well, no tournament, like, bye, type of thing. I think a lot of orgs could have done that. Thankfully, I don't think any did. But it's one of those where it's, it puts you into a worrying time. Obviously, G1 came in, paid off all the backlog of stuff, which was great, and it looked really good, and everyone thought, maybe this is right, maybe this is how it's going to go. And then we didn't get paid from March till I think it was like a week or two ago now. So we had all that stress of being like, the fact that we had to try and organise a sort of boycott of championships. It's crazy. You know, we've all played for, you know, over a year, grinded every day, you know, every week to get to championships, and then the fact that we had to even like consider boycotting it is ridiculous.
Yeah. All right. You had Tadpole coming in as a coach a few months into you being signed to Düsseldorf. What does he do for the team?
Tadpole is really good for the team's mentality. He keeps us together. It's very easy to sort of slack off and not do the work that you need to put in, especially when you're winning so many tournaments. And I think Tadpole really keeps us right there where we need to be. He looks after us in that regard and managing us. And when we go to events, like Tadpole will take care of us really, really, really well. Make sure we're playing the game, make sure we're doing this. You need to be focused on this, don't do this. It sounds sort of like a mother/fatherly sort of relationship. But yeah, I think us as players, we're quite naive and we can be we're not knowing what to do. And I think that guidance and that support from somebody like Tadpole, who has done so much in the Rocket League scene, like he's been to a Worlds, he's played there, he got top 8, like that experience, that knowledge really helps us sort of develop into what we want to become and keep pushing us. And no, he's been instrumental to the team's success, I feel.
Definitely keeps us grounded, you know, motivated. You know, we go a couple of games down in the series and it's like, you guys know that you should be winning this, and it's, you know,
Yeah.
Can I use a kind of bad word?
Sure.
So it's a bit like a kick up the arse. I think it's probably the only way I can really phrase it is, you know. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's coaching the other reserve team as well, the male team. And
Yeah.
they're also in the same organization as you. Do you gain anything from them? Do you?
It definitely helps that he sort of analyses RLCS gameplay consistently. So then he can say, oh, this is sort of what the meta's shifting towards. We want you to look at working on these 3 things. Like, it's not like an instant jump, but there's definitely a steering towards the direction of what RLCS is going towards. Having such a real-time look at that is really, really useful. Especially when he'll be looking at the comms of RLCS teams, and then he'll hold us to those standards. Which is so important in like a tournament and things like that. The communication that you have with your team is instrumental to your success and the morale of the team and the confidence that you need to have when playing Rocket League. All of these things help when he looks at what the RLCS teams are doing, what's being successful, what's working, what's not working, and then he'll give us information and data based on that.
Do you talk to the players as well? Or not so much?
I think less so sort of like this scrim went like this, but sort of more casually. Yeah, we chat to the players and we'll see them at like boot camps or events that we do with older sponsorships and things like that when we would just meet up.
I think
And-
definitely with especially boot camps, you know, like we're going out and having meals with the players and sort of having a relationship and chatting and having a good time with them as well. But yeah.
And it feels like you're treated on the same level, with the same amount of time put into you, the same amount of support from everyone in the org. I know I'm just a sub, but I see it. Tadpole is your biggest supporter and you know, he's so passionate. He wants to see you win, and so does everyone else on the org. They are just as invested with the main RLCS team as they are with the women's team. And it is because, you know, it's a lesser tournament. You could just sort of miss a couple viewings of it, not be as invested with content creation surrounding it, or pushing the popularity in the community to envelope us in it. And I feel our org has created such a safe community and made us feel valued as players, and that's what you want to see in every org that takes on a women's team. It's not just a ticker box, it's work to make sure that you are not only looking good because you have a women's team in inclusivity, that you are including them. Inclusivity, it can't be inclusive if you just sign an org and then you don't even put tweets out about their game results or anything like that, which we have seen before, where at Dallas, actually, a team won and their organisation didn't post anything about it until someone said about it, called them out. So to know that they have your back and they care about you is so just incredible, really. Yeah.
You mentioned the content creation. You've been a Twitch streamer for quite a while, longer than when you joined the team.
Yeah.
Has joining Resolve changed how you approach content creation?
I wouldn't say that it's changed how I approach it, but having people tell me, we really like what you're doing, we want to support it and help you grow as much as possible. What can we do to help you, not just in terms of creation, but lifestyle and wellness and all of that, and not just streaming, other social media, having that support, and it has made me love streaming even more, and it's grown my community because people go, oh, Williams Resolve, we love the team, we love the women's team, so I'll hop in this person's stream and see what's up. And I've gathered some amazing community members just from that already, and I can't wait to see where it goes, really, because I'm super motivated to carry on.
I think it's one of the things where it goes both ways. Like, a lot of Vic had a community obviously before she joined Resolve. A lot of them are now, Resolve fans, and a lot of Resolve fans are now Vic's fans now. So I think it's good for benefits everyone type of thing.
Right, nice. And we're at the World Championship right now, but you have your own Worlds coming up. How do you prepare for that?
By not going to the World Championship is how you prepare. We should be back at home playing, practicing, keeping up the hours. But I feel like you've got to live your life. When we do get back, so I get back on Monday, it will be head down, probably look at a lot of the gameplay that's gone on here. So we'll have Tadpole analyse it and then break down sort of small little things that work. Because you can't just jump and say, oh, I'm going to instantly play like Vitality. But you can definitely implement concepts that Vitality use into your own gameplay. But yeah, no, it's a lot of hours. It's a lot of sticking together as a team, scrims, sort of just keeping you in the mindset of that what's coming up has sort of been brewing for basically the whole year. I mean, we started in October and it's all led up to this World Championship, which is on next week, which is just crazy to think about. Yeah, and since the last time we played a North American team, we lost, to put it very bluntly. So we know that there's competition. We know that we're probably not the clear favourites going into it, which is a different position for us, and it's probably a little bit scary. But no, we sort of accept the challenge. We will do our absolute best to push forward and make sure that we are the ones who take it all.
Yeah. Does it motivate you too to be here in Düsseldorf and see the matches?
100%.
I was going to say that. London afterwards, I was like, Rocket League's amazing. I'm going to put in 100 hours a week and I'm going to be just as good as them up there. So it definitely gives you that burst of, I want to do that, because it's just so awesome seeing the level, the precision, the dedication that they've so clearly put in. You know, the emotion. You see Vatira and Zen crying after a series and hugging each other, and the camaraderie, and it's just, it's inspirational to be here and
I
watch
think
it.
the crowd as well.
Yeah.
You know, like everyone who plays at a high level wants to be, you know, on the stage, you know, playing in front of thousands of people. So it's seeing that and knowing that we're all working towards it. It's obviously motivation enough.
Prince said you're not the clear favourites for Worlds. So what are your expectations?
Our expectations are to win.
Yeah.
Anything else we'll be really, really disappointed with. I think having the year that we've had, we can't go into it expecting anything other than a win. But there's definitely sort of scope, whereas like last season when we went into it, we were very, very confident that we would just bang, we were winning. And I don't think the same levels of confidence going into the tournament are there. But we also don't have the sort of scapegoat that's like, oh, we're not expected to win this, so we can just go all out. Because every single series we go into will be expected to either win or go to Game 7 and push every single team as much as we can. But no, our expectations always have been, and I think always will be, to win the whole tournament.
You know, I think we've only lost 3 series in the last year, which is ridiculous. And 2 of those series we ended up winning the tournament anyway. So I still think we go in as clear favourites. Maybe not as clear, but I still think we are favourites. Personally, anyway.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you very
Thank
much
you.
for your time.
All right.
How do you guys feel